Martin, there are several vendors in the telecom space that have announced the Voice 2.0 or the Web Mashup program. There are Alcatel, Nortel, Cilantro, Broadsoft, lots of them. MetaSwitch also has open APIs on its MetaSphere platform, and you must surely be looking, or you must surely be exploring, cultivating a developer sort of community, developer program, whereby you bring in a pool of developers and they develop these web mashups. So while you evaluate these options, what are the issues that you are debating within MetaSwitch?
So MetaSphere is an application server platform which has a portfolio of applications including unified messaging, click-to-dial, live message screening, incoming call management, those kinds of applications. And ever since we introduced those applications, they've all had open web services APIs, which we expose to our customers and which we support. Now, many of our customers already make use of those APIs to provide their own front ends. For example, they build web clients, or they mash up visual voicemail, for example, into a web portal. So they're already being used by service providers for their own purposes. We use the same APIs, of course, for our own front ends. We have ComPortal, which is our web client, provides visual voicemail and access to all of the other services. Now, as far as a kind of telco 2.0 player is concerned, we are talking to some of our customers about exposing those APIs to third parties. That they're ready to go right now. We haven't seen so far any customers doing that based on MetaSphere, but they're ready to go, and we've done many proofs of concept around how third parties could, for example, mash up visual voicemail into, let's say, an iGoogle front page.
Okay, so what are the possibilities of MetaSwitch sponsoring a third-party developer program and pretty much managing it in terms of offering a developer portal, etc., and letting the service providers then pick and choose?
So we've considered the possibility of our own kind of developer marketplace, and we've compared and contrasted that with the other model, which is that we put into the hands of our service provider customers the means to create that kind of marketplace themselves. Our view is that second model is the more useful and more appropriate one. It's our service provider customers who are offering the network services based on MetaSphere applications that can generate value by exposing those APIs and encouraging third parties to write applications to them. And that's the model that we expect to see adopted in the industry.
Okay, and these service providers, and you have lots of service provider customers in the industry, there is certainly demand coming from the service providers for these Voice 2.0 or Telco 2.0 services. But the approach or the model that you just outlined, I'm just wondering, what would be the underlying, what is the underlying motivation for companies such as MetaSwitch in enhancing the platform and opening up the web APIs if you are not going to benefit, from those mashups directly?
Well, we benefit directly by selling more licenses for the use of our applications. Our customers expect our applications to expose those APIs. They look very carefully at the composition of the APIs to make sure that they are suitable for exposing to third parties, so that we have the right authorization, authentication model, which means that the service can be properly charged and billed for. So it's an important part of the sale of the MetaSphere applications that the APIs are there and that they're fit for purpose for exposing to third parties. So that's the benefit we get from them.
Do you envisage? Do you anticipate any branding issues to be there?
Any
branding issues?
We expect service providers to brand the APIs themselves. Typically, a service provider that is creating an open marketplace for Telco 2.0 style services is actually building those APIs from a portfolio of different applications. So we don't expect to be the exclusive provider of those kinds of capabilities. They may be combining our APIs with APIs from other application server vendors, maybe in the IPTV space, for example. So we end up just being a component of an API-based application marketplace that they expose under their brand name to their market.
Okay. So I mean, having spoken to yourself and a couple of other vendors, that are enabling Voice 2.0 or Telco 2.0, it seems as if that seems as if delivery models for these mashups are not sorted yet. Is that going to affect the pace at which the service providers deploy these Voice 2.0 mashups?
I think it's worth remembering that the products that they're deploying today, the applications, they have those APIs built in. As I say, many of our customers are making use of those APIs for their own purposes, so building their own, effectively their own mashups based on those. They may be wondering about what additional value can we get by exposing those to third parties. It's still a very immature marketplace. I mean, very few of the telcos, certainly the ones we've been talking to, are actively moving in that direction or have announced plans. But as I say, we know that this is something they're very conscious of, because we're in constant dialogue about the shape of the APIs and the extent to which they are suitable for exposing to third parties.
There is only BT out there in the market that have openly announced the program Web 21C. How many major service providers do you expect to announce similar sort of programs by let's say by the end of 2008?
Well, almost universally, our customers value the ability that our products have to expose these APIs, and we believe they do that because they have an intention to work with them. When they do it, I have no visibility of their timescales for exposing those APIs. I suspect a lot of them are looking to the success of, or otherwise, of the BT initiative here, to get a sense of how well this actually works in the real world. So I think at the moment most of them are kind of in watching and waiting mode.
Okay, well, thank you very much for speaking to me, Martin.